Welcome to the Unexceptional Moms podcast. This is Ellen Stumble from ellenstumble.com,
and this is Erin Lorraine.
She has a blog, but she's not updating her blog very much lately.
No, I haven't been good, so I'm just from my basement.
Yes, from your basement. So the hub of everything we do will be on my blog, which is ellenstumble.com. So Unexceptional Moms. Well, first of all, we're both special needs moms, and this is where it comes from. So, Erin, why did we choose Unexceptional Moms?
We decided on Unexceptional Moms after coming up with many ideas.
Yes, some of them were great. Some of them not so great.
Well, we were brainstorming.
I liked the Ellen and Erin show the most.
Yes, I know. You're a fan of that.
Yes.
Yes. We chose Unexceptional Moms because we hear in the special needs community from a lot of parents that they get comments from people saying, I could never do that. You're a saint. You're so amazing. And it's actually kind of uncomfortable for all of us because there's nothing exceptional or amazing about us.
No.
And we are unexceptional moms.
We are. And it's not true that God only gives special children to special parents, which many of us hear all the time. So that's how Unexceptional Moms came to be. And the idea of the podcast, I've been trying to get Erin to do this for a really long time. I was thinking it was at least at the beginning of last summer that I remember talking to you about this. And you said, yeah.
That's pretty much what I said.
Yeah. And it's finally happening. So I'm really excited about that. So since this is the first episode, we thought that we would introduce ourselves. So Erin, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm married to Larry, and we've been married for 20 years. And we have 4 children. Clayton, our oldest, is 17, going into his senior year of high school. And Evan, our next child, is 14, going into his freshman year of high school. And then Oksana is 11 in her 5th grade year. Anya is 9 in her 3rd grade year. Clayton and Evan are our biological children. Oksana and Anya are adopted. Oksana is from Ukraine. She was adopted at the age of 5. She has cerebral palsy and microcephaly and a number of mental health issues. And Anya is from Bulgaria. She was adopted at 5, and she has Down syndrome and ADHD.
And she's now, you said, 9, right? She's 9?
She's 9.
Yes. Yep. And for us, Andy and I have been married for 13 years, I think, or 14. I can't remember right now. This is terrible. We were married in 2003, so that's 13 years. So we've been married for 13 years. We have 3 girls. They are almost 11, 10, and almost 9. So our oldest is our typical child. And then we had our youngest daughter, who's going to be 9 soon, and she was born with Down syndrome. She changed our lives completely. That was my moment. That's when I realized that God really did not give special children to special parents, because the moment I became a special needs mom, I knew, okay, there's nothing special about any of these people. We're just trying to survive, and we just do what every parent does, which is love our kids. And then we adopted Nina from Ukraine when she was 4. And that's actually how Erin and I got to meet. When we were in Ukraine, we asked about a sibling-like relationship for Nina or a really close friend, and that's when we met Oksana. So every time I went to visit Nina, Oksana would be there, and they were older kids with babies. So when I would come and get Nina to visit, Oksana often wanted to come with us, and I always told the workers that it was fine. So when I came home, I was very determined to find her a family. And within the first week of being home, I think, Erin, that's
days.
Maybe it was days. Yeah. I got an email from you asking about Oksana, and I shared what I knew, and you guys ended up adopting her. So I always say our girls brought us together.
Yes, definitely.
And then you guys adopted Anya, who has Down syndrome. So now we both have our girls with and our girls with Down syndrome, and they're both rascals.
Yes.
I mean, my daughter's nickname is Rascal, and so is your daughter's nickname.
Yes.
We were talking about her today, actually, during dinner.
Anya?
Anya, yes, she was because when we come see you guys in a couple of weeks, we were saying, what do you think she's going to do? What do you think she's going to say? I can't wait. She's pretty rascally, even though right now, Nicole, she doesn't want to be called Rascal. It's probably Princess Nicole or Officer Nicole or whatever she is for the day.
Wonderful. We'll remember that.
Yes. So that's the story for families. But what we thought we would talk about, because school has started for some kids, like Erin, your kids are all back in school. But my kids don't start school until the 1st of September. So it's this transition time. However, every school year can be a little bit scary. Can be, you never know what to expect. So we thought that we would come up with 10 ways to foster positive relationships with the teachers and with the team. So Erin and I kind of brainstormed what were the things that we think are pretty important. So I think we both agree, first and foremost, pray. Pray for the teachers, pray for the team, pray for your kids. Which people should do all the time, right? I mean, that's a good thing to do throughout the day.
That is a good thing, no matter if your children are in special ed or not.
Yes. Just praying for the kids. Number 2, write them notes throughout the year. I don't know, Erin, have you ever done that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, actually. And not just the teachers, but also other members of the IEP team. If they did something that was particularly helpful to us or something, I would write them a note and just tell them how much I appreciate them. You know,
I've done that better in some years than others. I think this last year, I struggled with the last couple of years. I struggled a little bit with that, but I tried to do that just to have that positive relationship. Nina's kindergarten teacher, when Nina was in kindergarten, was getting married. And I even started a countdown for her so that every day Nina came, there was something fun. And I really did that because I wanted the teachers to know, hey, we're in the same team.
Exactly.
So that's really helpful. And I think if I was a teacher, which I'll be teaching, I think I would appreciate that, to know that there's a parent that is praying for me and that throughout, the year is thinking about me enough that they're going to send a note. And I'm talking about friendly notes, not a, what were you thinking kind of note. You might feel like sending those, but number 3, when you have a meeting, bring food.
Yes, that was a tip that I heard very early on when I first started going to IEP meetings, and I adapted that tip. It has been great. I love honoring my team in that way and acknowledging. I always tell them, look, if we're going to sit in a room for this long and talk, we need to eat. And it's been sometimes as simple as some chocolate. And it's been sometimes as big as I've done full breakfast, like bagels and fruit and things like that. And it's always been fun for us. And I joke all the time that everyone wants to be at our IEP meetings because we always eat well. And it's not, at first I thought, is this going to look like a bribe? But they were so thankful for it. And it really is a way for us another way to thank them, another way to appreciate them. And it just sets a good tone for the meeting.
We have done the same. And like you, sometimes it's been a little bit more involved. Sometimes I just bring a bag of chocolate, I open it, and there's something. And it really depends on time, but they look forward to it. And very, very few people do it. As a matter of fact, I don't know that anybody else at our school ever brings food. And it's fun to hear now that we've known them for 5 years, they go, yay, here come the treats.
Yeah.
To the point that I've gotten to know, I make some granola bars, and one of the teachers that comes, she loves them. So now I make them for her, and I've actually made an extra loaf to give it to her, and she really appreciates it. Now, I've had some people say that's not professional, that, an IEP is a professional meeting, you're part of the, the team, and I see that. However, I think about, we're all here because we're going to try to figure out how to help my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was going to have them come to my home, I would probably say, would you like something to drink? Would you like a snack? I would offer them something. And it's the same. And I do think that it sets the tone for, this is going to be friendly. I'm not here to fight you.
Yes.
So they know that you're not going there to bribe necessarily, but you're not there coming out with the emotional punches, that you're there really to say, hey, let's break bread together, in a way. So
as a practical to add to that, if you're going to do something more complex, it's a good idea to email them and just give them up so that they don't all eat beforehand and then no one eats what you brought.
Yes.
So I've had that happen to me too. And so now if I'm going to do something bigger, I will email them before and say, do not eat breakfast this morning because I'm providing it for you.
Because, IEPs happen in all times. Now, if I meet at other times, like parent-teacher conferences and other things, that's a situation where I might bring a candy bar. I think there was a year that I brought them, I went to Starbucks. I stopped by Starbucks and I brought them something because I knew that teachers had been all day, having meetings. And it was, they were like, oh, thank you so much. Which when I have my kids, usually parent-teacher conferences, it's not just the teacher. We usually have the team. So it's always bigger. Okay, so that was number 3. Moving on, number 4, do random gifts if you can.
Okay.
No, I have not done that.
Yours. Okay, so this was your idea.
Yes, and I came up with this because I have a friend who is really good at this, and I remember I was with her once at school, and she said, hey, I just need to go around. I have some gift cards for the teachers. So she had just gone and she bought $5 gift cards for Target, I think, or maybe Starbucks. It was something really practical, and it was just a small gift. And it was one of those times that she was able to do it. And she didn't do it for all of the teams for her kids, but she did it for some of them. And I thought that was a really great idea. And I think that for people who can, why not?
Right. That can get costly when you consider the number of people who care for our children. So I do gifts Christmas and end of the year. I think that if I did something else, maybe it would be if I found out a favorite drink that a teacher had or whatever, a favorite candy, swing it by. I did do one thing one year, and I haven't done it since, no good reason, but before the school year started, I saw this cute idea on Pinterest, and I got the decision to do this. It was a little survival kit. Teacher survival kit. So I got a little bin, and it had like an aspirin in it and a protein bar and some Kleenex and some hand sanitizer, things they might need throughout the year.
Oh, that's really cute.
That they could go to that kit and have what they needed, kind of a survival kit for the school year.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, it was fun.
I bet there's lots of great ideas on Pinterest now that you
yes, because I'm not creative at all, so that surely wasn't from my brain.
And I think if you can get your kids to do that too, like if you have kids that enjoy art, even those simple things like, hey, let's make a card for your teacher, from the kids, because those are gifts. Those count.
Yes, absolutely. Free is better.
Free is best. Don't we know it? And sometimes that's super meaningful.
Absolutely. Or just a pack of gum is so cheap. But if you know it's their favorite, it's super meaningful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it reminds them that you're thinking about them.
Right.
Okay, number 5, send a letter introducing your child and yourself at the beginning.
And you said you've done that.
I have done that, and I did really well, again, when the girls were younger. And I think if I look back at my life and the years that have been really tough, those are the years that I haven't done as much as I wanted to. But I have done that. Towards the beginning of the year, I do send the teachers and the therapists a letter. And I think part of it, after 5 years, they know it's better. But kind of sharing with them about my kids, not at a school setting, because that's what they get to see. And that's what they're doing. They're working on those IEP goals. They're working on reading and writing and math. But I want them to know more about who my child is outside of school and who, the dynamics in our family and who I am. So I have written letters to introduce my kids and I would say that all the teachers that have gotten them, they love them, and they really do feel like they know my family. And I am really open and really honest and really vulnerable, and I don't try to paint this beautiful picture of our family. And I share with them, or the joys and struggles, obviously what's appropriate, and they feel this great connection. And I found out that it's really, really great. And I decided to do that with some of the aides as well for Nina one year. And I found out that the aides really appreciated that too, because the aides spend a lot of time with our kids as well.
Right.
So for them to know our kids, that's really, really great. And I think I'm going to do that again now that I feel like life is a little bit more balanced and regulated.
I'm just going to pause for a moment here to point out that we're throwing out a lot of ideas, and the idea isn't to do all 10 of these.
No.
The idea is to pick 1 or 2 that work for you. These are it's 10 ideas. Grab what you like, leave what you don't. But I think it would be overwhelming to do all of these. But grab a couple of the ideas. I feel overwhelmed talking about it, and I want to be sure we state that.
That is true. You do not have to do all 10. It's if you can find one thing that you can do, it's going to help. And maybe you'll find out that you can do more than that. And also, I should point out that we're putting a freebie together. So if you go to the website, to my website, where I have the podcast, there is going to be 10 ways to foster positive relationships checklist. And it's not really a checklist, but you can download that to have it just as a reminder. So go ahead and grab that, because this is a lot that we're throwing out there for ideas. Thanks for pointing that out, Erin. Okay, number 6, consider volunteering in the classroom if you can.
Okay, I don't do this.
I don't either. We both thought this was such a great idea. I always think I'm going to do that this year, and I don't.
Well, part of my thing is I homeschool my 2 boys. And so that time that the girls are at school is really my time to zero in on them. And I actually am doing some part-time work now. And so that's a factor too. But also my girls have always just been, school is kind of their place, and they've got it figured out. And I don't know. I have not done that, good or bad. Feel what you feel about it. I just haven't.
I haven't either. And that's just because I have no desire to do it.
Well, that's
the truth. I go to the field trips, and I do love going to field trips. And if there's anything special happening at the school that they invite the parents, and my girls do say that they want me to come, I come. But I am not the classroom parent, and I'm not there making photocopies. I'm not doing any of that. I have a part-time job, but I do, a lot of writing from home, and that's not what I do. But for some people, that's a great way to be involved and to be present.
Absolutely. And much needed often.
It is it's much, much needed. Now, if we didn't have great volunteers at our school, maybe I would be thinking about it a little bit more. But I do see that there are parents that are involved and present, and I know them. We have a small enough school that I know who the parents are. And I like that. So there you go. Our great advice that we don't do. But there it is.
Honesty,
you can do
honesty. It's the best policy.
That's all we're good. That's what we're going to do, right? That's all we do, honesty. We're going to keep it real. Number 7, when needing to confront something with teachers, use language such as, I was wondering, or I was puzzled by, but don't start it with, what were you thinking? I mean, we've talked about this.
Right. Well, and I'm not saying there might not be times to say, what were you thinking? I mean, we've been in that situation too, but the majority of the time, starting a conversation with, this is what I was thinking, what do you think? And rolling that conversation that way will lead to open dialogue, and you can still put your 2 cents in and even get what you're looking for, but you do it by fostering relationship at the same time.
Okay. I mean, you mentioned before, Erin, that sometimes you will have an idea of what you want to see happen, and you go, you talk to the teachers, and you have this dialogue, and then you walk out and you feel like, I mean, you've changed your mind. but not because
Yes.
they made you change your mind, but after having that dialogue and that conversation.
That's very true. I have gone into IEP meetings sure that I knew what I wanted and ready to fight for it, but went in with that approach of, this is what I'm thinking. I'd love your thoughts. And I actually walked out with a different idea. But I have great respect for my team, and we dialogue really well together. So their thoughts are very valuable to me.
Yep. And I feel like that with my team as well. I've never felt that I've had to fight anything. And the one thing that I thought, because we have such a positive relationship, several of the therapists said, I wouldn't do what you're doing, but I support you 100%. And I really appreciated that. And there was no fight in that.
Right.
So
right.
That's the beauty of having a really good relationship with that team.
Yes.
Number 8, always try to work together.
Which seems obvious.
It does. Yeah, if you can keep the friendliness open, that's the best thing. I mean, I'm sure that I know I have friends who have had to fight the school that actually, unfortunately, they've had to call in lawyers. And the law is on their side, and maybe they win. But even if you win, are you going to send your child back to that school after you went through all of that? Because that relationship is really broken. And
it's a sticky situation when those kind of things happen. There's some bad stuff happening out there. So that's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
It is really hard.
Because we did have a situation with a teacher that, in our opinion, abused our daughter. And there's not a whole lot of building great relationships in that situation.
With that particular teacher.
Right? Yes, with that particular teacher. However, we did maintain our relationships with the administration of the school, and had our daughter move to another classroom that ended up having an amazing, amazing teacher in it. Right. So it can be really hard when there are some legal situations and some real fights out there that are fights that need to be made.
Yeah, but I wonder, Erin, if you had not had a positive relationship with the rest of the administration, how different that situation could have been.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because when you were concerned about things and you had to have those tough conversations, I mean, if I remember right, you never felt like they were trying to cover something up, or they were trying to keep you out of the loop. They took everything very seriously, and they were willing to work with you and do the best thing for your child.
Yes.
And that is the beauty of having those positive relationships, which does not always happen.
You're right.
Because again, I've had friends who have won, and then a lawyer looks at them and says, now, are you sure you want to send your child back to that school that you just fought, and that we went through all of that? That's a really tough place to be. So
it is.
To the best of your abilities, always try to work together with a team. Okay, number 9, thank your team every time.
Yes, so I brought this up because I have made it a habit that anytime someone on our team does something helpful, or it doesn't even have to be above and beyond, just doing their job great, I try to text them or verbally tell them or email them how thankful I am, because I am. We have an incredible team and some incredible teachers, and I hear the stories out there, and I am thankful. I am thankful that the teacher that has Oksana this year is working so hard to help her have a successful year. It means so much to me, and I'm making sure I let her know that.
And you're a teacher, or you were a teacher. Teachers don't get thanked very often for what they do. Therapists really don't get thanked very often for what they do. Aides don't get thanked very often for what they do. So in some ways, you could it's kind of a thankless job. So if you do think about, saying thank you and letting them know that you are thankful, that I'm guessing that really goes a long ways.
And it's free.
It is free. Absolutely. And number 10, and you said this, Erin, pick your battles.
Pick your battles. So what I've learned is if I complain about every single solitary little thing, when the big things come, they're not going to hear me anymore because I've been complaining
Yes.
about every single solitary little thing. And so the little things, I let them slide. Even if I know it's the mistake, I let them make the mistake. They learn from it. It doesn't hurt anyone.
Mhm.
But then when the bigger things come and I really need to step in and say, I don't think so. They hear me, they listen, and they respect what I have to say to them.
Yep. I think that can be hard because I know
Sure.
for me, um, people talk about a helicopter parents, and I don't know
Yep.
if just by nature, when you parent kids with disabilities, you do kind of tend to become that helicopter parent because, it's the health, it's the disability, it's the pity, you add everything that comes at us that I think we can easily become a helicopter parent, or at least I can easily become a helicopter parent. Sometimes I hear people making fun of those. I'm like, that's me though. That's me. And I don't feel bad about it. But that's where it's a really good thing to be reminded to pick your battles
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because some of them are really not worth it.
Well, and no one's going to take care of your child as well as you do. And
Yes.
that's okay for many things, not
Mhm.
for everything. And that's when you step in and say, that's not going to work.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Just like I've always said with Nicole, my daughter who has Down syndrome, and she's going to be in 3rd grade, and she's not reading. And I know a lot of other kids with Down syndrome who are even younger than her that are reading really well. And I think, if I homeschool that girl, I think she would be reading. But I care about so much more than academics.
Mm-hmm.
I care about the social interactions. I care about her being around
Mm-hmm.
peers, kids her age, about learning from teachers, learning to follow directions, to be in a group, so many other things that are really, really important. And I know that that's a really small, petty example of it. But I think you're right. Yes, not everybody can take as good care of our kids as we can, but
Yeah.
that's okay. And
Or
for
as we
some things,
think we can.
that's true, as we think we can, because nobody can love our babies and take care of them
That's
as much
true.
as we can. Um, Nicole has been taking swimming lessons, and we tried to go swimming and keep practicing those things. And I was trying to do what the teacher was doing, and Nicole looked at me and she said, "Mom, no teacher." So she put me in my place. You're not my teacher. You're my mother. You don't teach me to
Yeah.
swim. I just get to have fun with you. But that's fine.
Right.
I can do the fun stuff
Yep.
or something.
That's right.
So there it is. That is our list of 10 ways to foster a positive relationship with school administration, whatever that is.
Ellen, is there a place that people can give their ideas to us?
Yes. So if you go to ellenstumble.com, you're going to see that I have an icon for the podcast. So if you click on that, you're going to see every episode. So just click on episode 1 and let us know what you are doing to foster that relationship, or if any of these are helpful. And again, that's where you can go, and that's where we created this freebie. So you can download this list, the 10 ways to foster positive relationships. It's just, one piece of paper, but you can have that as a reminder. And you will find that, when you go there, you're going to find every single podcast. I'm going to be sharing those.
Which right now is 1.
Right now, yes, this is the first one. So this is the only one you're going to see there. You'll click on podcast and you're going to be in the right one. Episode 1. I don't know if at this point, because we're recording this before it comes live, so it might just be ellenstambo.com/1, like just the number 1 or 001. We'll see. I don't know. Just go there.
Now
Click on the icon.
Will our next podcast be together?
All of them will be together.
No. Together in the same room.
Oh, yes. The next podcast we are recording.
Like all of them will be together.
Of course we're together. Yes, because we're coming to visit you guys. So we're going to be together in the same room, same screen. And that's where we're going to record our little jingle intro.
Yes. Thanks to my husband, right?
Yes, because that's his forte, his expertise. So thank you for joining us. Now we're going to be on iTunes, and really any way that you can download a podcast, you can listen to that. You can also listen to that on the website. We do have the videos on YouTube. So if you want to see how beautiful we are.
Or how people say we look like twins.
Well, they do. Which we still, I think we do kind of resemble each other. But you are the white version and the Mexican version.
Right. Which with my lighting, I don't know. But yeah, there's nothing Mexican about me.
Nope. But we have been asked if we're twins.
We have been.
Which I kind of liked it.
Hey, I'm good with that.
Yes. That means you looked younger?
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Or you looked older.
No, let's not go there. So this is a podcast, and this is pretty much what people can expect. I know when we were, this is our second try, by the way, on our first episode, and we can be honest about it. And we did the first one. I sent Erin the audio, and we said, what is the takeaway? I mean, if we're going to do this, we want people to get something out of this. We want this to be a resource for you and something that can be an encouragement for you. And that's why we decided we're going to try to create a freebie for every single podcast that we do, so you can have that as a resource as well. And we'll have some laughs. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some tears.
Yeah.
We don't know at this point what it's going to be. But we hope that you subscribe and share with your friends about an Exceptional Moms podcast. I might still like to refer to it as the Ellen and Erin Show, but that's not the official name. And you can't see she's not laughing out loud, but Erin is really laughing at me right now. So we will see you guys next week, and stop by and get your freebie downloaded from the website.
And tell us your ideas.
Please do, because we want this to be kind of a conversation. And, we talked about if there are topics that people want us to cover, leave a comment, send us a message, a Facebook message, either way. That works.
Excellent.
All right. Well, until next time.
Bye.
Bye.